Okay friends, I just want to do a little intro to this video that you're about to see. It was kind of shot piece by piece as we ran around the garden in July, just doing a lot of July gardening tasks. So you are going to see it bit by bit. So in each bit I'm kind of describing what I'm doing in that little bit. So I hope you can follow along. We came up with lots and lots of chores to do in July to keep the garden happy and healthy. So I hope you enjoy. Hey friends, it's Sarah from Midwife Garden. We are up here at the far garden because we have just lots of little chores to do. The first thing that we're gonna do is take care of these tomatoes, and then hopefully we will get to pick tons and tons of pepperoncinis and then kind of wander about and see what else we have to do in the garden. But let me show you what's going on here with these tomatoes and why they need a little bit of tender love and care. So I don't know if you remember, a few months ago we did this beautiful video about how to take care of your tomatoes, and now they are laying across the ground untrellised and just a hot mess. So we need to get in here and get off any of these things that are touching the ground. We need to get these branches trellised up and just get this in much better shape. We also have, like I said, just a ton of pepperoncinis, so hopefully we will get around to doing that today too. But in the meantime, on to the tomatoes. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is just the really basic, getting these vines trellised up like they should be. And then we'll see if we have more pruning to do. All right, now that we've gotten those tied up, it actually isn't as bad as I thought. If you look in here, we do not actually have a ton of stuff touching the ground, but we have plenty of stuff that's pretty low, so we're just gonna get in here and start trimming off most of this, just kind of trying to clean this up. And obviously on the other side, I think we have even more work to do. So I'll show you what that looks like when we're done. All right, friends, so this is what that looks like when it's done. I'm gonna kind of see the tomatoes, so hopefully they'll get a little bit more light and they'll start to ripen up. I don't know if you can see this. It is just the beginning of July and we are already getting our first ripe tomato, beyond the cherry tomatoes that we've already gotten. So I'm super excited about that. I am gonna water and then maybe I'll bring you back for seeing what we get to harvest today. Hey, one more just real quick thing that I forgot to mention. The other thing that I've done pretty recently, if you can see that white stuff on the ground in this onion patch, is to feed them again with bone meal. I'd been feeding them with just blood meal, nitrogen based, many times every couple weeks during the leaf growing season. But now that they're starting to bulb up, I thought I'd give bone meal a try. That's new for me this year, but I think, you know, the way my brain works, that will probably work well. So I will let you know. This is definitely already the best onion season I've had. They're already starting to all bulb up and they look lovely. So I'm super excited. And I will show you that harvest when we get there. I am probably gonna pick just a few potatoes. They're not quite ready, but I'll get some new potatoes and that'll be fun for dinner. So I'll take a picture of that and show that to you when we have those. All right, guys, we went picking some pepperoncinis and we got a giant haul. I did go ahead and pick that one tomato. As it turns out, as long as they've started to turn a little bit, they really have everything they need, and this will just ripen beautifully on the counter. Little tiny pile of potatoes, one little zucchini, although there should be more soon, and a few cherry tomatoes from out here. Most of our cherry tomatoes are at. All right, friends. Another one of our July garden tasks in early July is going to be to get this garlic out. Now it's been dry for a few days, so I did bring a trowel along. Sometimes when it's been really moist, you can just pull them right out of the ground, but I have a feeling that today we will need the help of the trowel. Super easy. We just take them out. You know that they're ready when more than half of the leaves have browned. These might not be huge this year, but they are definitely ready. So we are just gonna put this trowel in the ground and pry from underneath. Oh, and pull it up. All right. So I'm just gonna take all of this garlic out and then I'll show you what we do with it when we're done. And I'll show you what we're gonna do with this bed when we are done. All right, friends, this is our garlic. We actually pulled probably a dozen cloves last week and decided they weren't quite ready. Some of them are big and beautiful, and some are a little smaller, but they're still garlic and they will do well. We did have a few that just came off their stems, so we'll just eat those sooner rather than later. All right, that is not all, folks. I am so sorry. I totally forgot to show you what I do. This is the mess of my garage. But to cure my garlic, I really just throw it in here. I will probably move those car seats out of the way. Hold on. These are just for my nieces on the off chance that we have them. Okay, let's try that again. So this is the garlic that I picked, I don't know, not quite a week ago, maybe a week ago. And this is where we will put all of this Now, best practice says that you would lay this all out in a single line, someplace that is out of the sun, that gets good airflow. This garage is nice and open. It does get good airflow. We actually leave it open a lot. And it is out of the sun. Things dry really well in here. I've never had an issue in the past. Would I love to have a beautiful hanging rack or some such? Yeah, for sure. But as it turns out, this does the trick. And you will see in a month or so that every single surface that I can find in here will be covered with something curing. The garlic usually needs to cure for a couple of weeks. Usually doesn't take much more than that. You want the stems to be fully dry and crunchy, and the roots too. And then you can trim those off and store it. My garlic usually lasts, until probably February, really well. This is a hardneck variety, so it's not one of the super long storing varieties, but I do live in a pretty cold place, so it's what grows best up here. And that's how I'm gonna cure it. I'm sure when I come back up here to cure onions, I will show you that too. This is not all of that garlic that was in that garden bed. This is the little tiny pile and what I had before, so I still have to go carry the rest of that over here, but I cannot carry and camera at the same time, so I will go grab that. I'll show you what it all looks like once it's up here. All right, friends, that is what it all looks like up there. It is piled far too thick, but it should dry just fine. So now I'm gonna go replant some zucchini and some cucumbers in that little spot, and then water them in well. And so much weeding to do everywhere. So still working on all those kinds of chores, but mostly it's weeding, feeding, pruning. July has plenty of gardening to be done. All right, guys, other things to be done in July. We need to get these potatoes out. So we have a 20-foot row here, 20 foot by 2 or 3 feet. So we're just gonna come in here and chop the tops off and get these potatoes out, and then get them curing. I'll show you what we're gonna do for that. It looks a little bit like our onions are mostly done too, which is a little bit sad. They started to bulb up very nicely and then just stopped. So we will probably get those out today as well. All right, we'll show you what we got. All right, friends, we dug up all of these potatoes. These are the potato tops. I know you're not supposed to compost potato tops, but they weren't at all sick. They were just done with their life cycle. So I'm gonna go ahead and compost them in this walkway here. This is what we got. Often we get 2 baskets this size, so, but I kind of knew this wasn't our perfect potato year, but that's okay. Still a basket of potatoes, and that's great. And then we will get either carrots or broccoli back in this one, and the other one in this one. So we also got all of these onions out, and it weeded a little bit. So this is a giant basket overflowing with onions, and we actually already had taken probably a third of them back to the house. So once we get them back to the house, I'll show you how we're going to cure everything. All right, friends, we have an unideal situation here for drying our onions, but somehow it seems to work out. So we just have this wheelbarrow in the garage that I've sort of laid them out in just a single line, and then we have this shelf up here. We've again tried to get them sort of single file up there, but they are not all single file. Ideally, you would have them single file hanging from something, like a mesh or something would be ideal, because airflow is really important. But there will definitely be airflow to all of these as we just leave that garage door open. They are protected from the light. It is warm enough without being humid in here. So they will dry just fine. And once they're dry, then we'll cut off the roots and we'll cut off the tops, and we'll put them away for the year. If you recall, we have our garlic just on the other side over there doing the same thing, and it's actually getting pretty dried out. All right, we are here a little closer to the garlic, and you can see that it's actually drying out really well, and it's only been in here for, I don't know, about a week maybe. So this garage gets plenty dry, and I think should cure just fine in here. The potatoes, however, there is just a little bit too much light that does sneak in here, and even just the barest little bit, sorry, very hot day with all of that. Even just the barest little bit of light on those potatoes can make them turn green, and then they're not really edible. So they will be going in the crawl space. I will show you that when I get that set up. Hey friends, it is a couple days later after we picked all of those potatoes and onions. And one more task that we need to do in July is get things replanted. So for the potato bed, we are gonna go ahead and do broccoli. So I will start those indoors and they won't come out here for a couple weeks. But for this onion bed that is still kind of covered in weeds, we are just gonna do carrots. So I went to the big box store and picked up some more carrots. I got this large pack of scarlet mantis, which are lovely. And then I got some pelleted Danvers just to try and make my life a little bit easier. So pelleted seeds, you can see a lot better. They're a lot easier to sow. So I'm gonna farm style this, just make a couple really long rows down this, and get these seeds planted. Normally I would then water them in really well and come check on them very regularly, but it is supposed to rain 2.5 inches tonight. So I'm not terribly worried, and I probably won't water them today, but I am around the next couple of days so I can come and check on them and water them more if it seems like they are drying out. The big thing with carrots and germination is just keeping them really well watered. So in times like July when it is very hot and often very dry, you really just have to either check on them a lot, water them a lot, or cover them with something until they start to germinate. I meant to cover them with cardboard, but it turns out I have not ordered enough stuff from Amazon this month, so I do not have tons of cardboard boxes to use. So we're just gonna get right into it and start getting planted here. All right, friends, that is it for the carrots. I will take you along for broccoli sowing as well. And we'll see you then. Friends, the other joy of working in a community garden, this is all harvest just from my section. And yes, I do pick my tomatoes a little on the early side, but otherwise, I promise you, the critters get to them. But I just had a friend walk up to me and give me a packet of seeds for, he called them Korean carrots, but I'm pretty sure these are daikon radishes. And hand me a Coke, a bag of peppers. So I now have an extra bag of peppers. I have no idea if they're spicy or not, but I guess we'll find out. So that's not a thing that happens when you're just on your own property. I love it. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Hey, friends. We were just up at the other garden planting carrots, and we got gifted some seeds. Again, I'm not 100% sure what these are, but they look a lot like daikon radishes to me. So they're gonna go in here with this carrot bed where there's a few empty spots. We have some green beans. These are contender green beans. We tried to plant green beans over here where the cabbages were, and 2 germinated. So we're gonna try one more time with the green beans over there. And then we are gonna plant some broccoli seeds just in a little tray. We are gonna take that tray inside for germinating because it is just a little too warm for their preferred excuse me, germination outside. And I'm just gonna take you along on the rest of those adventures, and then that will be the vast majority of our July chores. So let's see if you can see where we are here. Maybe a little closer. Hard to see. All right. Anyway, there's no, I can't read. I think this is Korean. Whatever beautiful language this is, I can't read it, so I can't tell how far apart they are or when they germinate or any of those things. So I'm just gonna take my best guess. Daikon radishes seem like they get pretty big to me, so I'm gonna do maybe 9 per square foot. So I'm just gonna make little holes here. I just happen to have this beautiful little end of a bed here that has some empty room. I was gonna plant more carrot seeds in here, but I just planted that whole bed of carrots over there, so I don't really need to. So we're gonna plant these instead and see what we get. I think it is one of the most fun things about gardening is the community that surrounds you as a gardener, that everybody is just sort of cheering for each other. You know, there's not competition in the gardening community. It's just, hey, I am doing great with this. I want you to do great with this. Hey, I'm struggling with this. Oh, that's cool. We'll totally help you with that. It's just one of the most enjoyable things about gardening. I'm not big into competition in general. I like collaboration and working together, so it just happens to pair very well with who I am as a person. I am literally just poking a hole with my finger. I'm planting these about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep, just based on the seed size. And these do look like they are probably pelleted seeds. I don't know what the seeds look like normally, so I can't promise myself they are pelleted, but they are a beautiful pink color. I don't know if you can see that. And I just don't know any real life seeds that come that color, so I'm guessing that this is a pelleted coating on these seeds, but we'll just see how many of them grow. If they are in fact daikon radishes, as I suspect that they are, then they will make very nice pickled radishes. You can do a quick pickle with daikon radishes. a little bit of sugar, half and half vinegar and water. You can add them to kimchi, which have a ridiculous amount of cabbage. I've never made kimchi, but that's certainly on the list of things I could try this year. But let's get over here and plant these beans, and then we'll go plant those broccoli. So the beans are just going over here. So I don't know if you can see this sad germination we have over here. We got 1, 2 beautiful little bean plants and lots of weeds. So I'm gonna pull out these weeds. Now these beans say to soak them overnight, so I just put them in some lukewarm water overnight to soak. This was just the glass that I had readily available. Don't judge. It will get clean, I promise, before I put any more liquid in it. And again, I'm just gonna poke a hole with my finger and plant them in there. These are gonna go a little bit deeper, more like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. I'm just gonna hope that I get better germination this time, because these really, 2 out of this entire bed is not great germination. It is the time of year where green beans should grow nicely. So not sure what happened. We do have lots of animals, and I thought I'd see if I had sprouts, but that the animals just got to. But I really just never saw evidence of sprouts, so not sure. But we don't eat a ton of green beans in the house, which is the reason that we don't already have a ton of green beans growing. But we would like some. Plus, like I said, when I originally tried to plant these, they really do, they are legumes. They do give back to the soil by re-nitrogening it. So it'd be really nice for this bed to have that as well. All right, on to the broccoli. Let's see if we can grab these broccoli seeds. More. So right now we are outside because it is just much nicer outside than it is anywhere else in the world. And if I can be outside, I'd rather. So I just have this little 72 cell tray, and these are just gonna go maybe 1/4 inch under. I'm not sure I really need 72 broccolis, so I will probably plant just 1 seed in each. And if I get great germination, great. And if I don't, then we'll just plant whatever we get. And then we will go back and water all this in. And then, like I said, I am gonna move this broccoli into the house just because it is a little too warm out for them, I think, to be trying to germinate outside. I have a grow light set up inside that I could easily start these in, but I think honestly once they sprout I am probably just going to bring them right back outside again, you know, in a little bit of a protected spot as they first start to grow, and then as soon as they have a couple sets of tree leaves we'll just put them in the ground. I do like to plant my fall brassicas a little earlier than some. In early August, I feel like I just don't get enough time for them to grow properly if I wait until later in August. The only other brassicas I'm planning on replanting for a fall crop are probably some kohlrabi. And those I will probably just direct sow because they seem to do okay sowing in any kind of weather. All right, I have a few extra, and these are, so I will probably just add a few more, and then we will just gently cover them up with this extra soil and get them all watered in. It is pretty damp, so I am going to quickly water in the daikon radish, but I probably won't water in the already very wet beans. So that is all of our July tasks. So we have done some pruning, we have done some harvesting, we have done some cleanup, we have done some replanting. We will continue to do tons and tons of harvesting and preserving, but that will be for a future video. All right guys, it was good to see you again. If you have any questions, just leave them down below. Happy to answer them. Thanks. Bye.